Hello friends, this video on Light Part 17 is brought to you by examfear.com. No more fear from exam. Now that we are talking about vision, we see a lot of people who are visually challenged. That is, they cannot see. Some of them lose their eyesight during some accident. Some of them do not get their eyesight since birth. So some people also who have got very weak eyesight, so they have got some problems which are so severe that they cannot see things clearly. So we actually come across a lot of visually challenged people, and sometimes you might be wondering that how do they do all the regular activities that we do with our normal eyesight? Like, we can read books, we can write things, we can do everything very normally. We can cross the road, we can see what is there, who is coming, who is going. But how do these people manage to do all these day-to-day activities? So if you talk about reading and writing, yes, there is a system for visually challenged people as well, and that is the Braille system. So let us see how do they read things with the help of Braille. So it is a writing system specially designed for visually challenged people. So what happens here? Now, a person who cannot see will not be able to read a book, right? But the person can feel the books because he can touch and feel things. So that is there. So by making use of that property, the Braille system was developed. So here they have embossed illustrations, characters, graphs, pictures, etc. And how the person recognizes it by touch. So if you look at it, this is how their book looks like. So their books have these kind of embossed dots. So when they touch each of the dots, they are able to understand what is written there. Now there is an entire set of alphabets specially designed for Braille. For example, we have our A, right? Like we write A, B, C, D and so on. Similarly, they have a specific design for A. They have a specific design for B. They have a specific design for C and so on. So that's how by touching each of the letters, they are able to recognize the alphabets, and that's how they read a book. So it helps them in reading. So not only the text, they also can feel the graphs and the graphs or pictures like that. So if they are able to touch it, so they can actually feel what is present written over there. However, these days with advancement in technology, there are a lot of softwares which have come up which can help visually challenged people, like the screen reader software. But still, Braille remains very important for developing the basic reading skills among blind children. So Braille is something which are taught to the blind children at an early age, so that they get a habit of reading and understanding things. Now, how was Braille developed? So that there is also a very interesting story behind the development of Braille. Now, long back in France, the French military leader Napoleon, he demanded a method or a means to communicate silently at night without light between the soldiers. Now, Napoleon was a very popular and a very good French military leader. Now, he wanted that at night, maybe the military people, they want to talk something secret amongst themselves. Now at night there is insufficient light, so writing something was little difficult. So he wanted some kind of method by which secretly they can share information, they can communicate with each other. Now on Napoleon's demand, there was a person called Charles Barbier. He developed a code. He developed a code which can be felt by touch. So something similar to what we see today as Braille. So he developed something of that sort which can be felt by touch, and that's how soldiers can communicate with each other. But then soldiers were finding very difficult to touch each and every letter and understand the message. So it was not very much helpful to the military. Later, after some time, the same code which was developed by Charles Barbier was modified by a blind person named Louis Braille, and he modified it in such a way that it was very much convenient for people to use it. Who cannot see, they can use it. So this was done somewhere around 1821 or so. So Louis Braille, he found that there were few defects, there were few major defects with the Barbier's code. And what were these? One of the defect was that what he had done was he had used a 12 dot symbol for each letter, and for human fingers it was little difficult to actually see that entire letter. And that's why they were finding it difficult to understand the text just by touching it, because the fingers could not move rapidly from one symbol to the next, because one symbol itself was quite huge. So at one go, the finger could not recognize one symbol, and that one symbol represented one letter. So Braille modified it to a 6 dot symbol. How will the 6 dot symbol look like? The 6 dot symbol looked somewhat like this. So like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So out of this 6, now it had different type of representations. Now a letter can be represented like this, some letter can be represented like this. So there could be different representations, and wherever I am showing dots, they are actually embossed dots, so you can actually feel it with your finger. Now each letter was this much big, which could be easily felt by the fingers at once. But earlier, which was developed by Charles Barbier, for what he used was he used a 12 dot symbol, so which was like double the size of this symbol. So it was quite big, so the finger actually had to move on that one particular dot to understand which letter is this. So it was quite time consuming as well. But this 6 dot symbol representation was very helpful, and with little more modifications, Louis Braille finally developed the Braille which we see today, and that is why it was named after him. So a specific pattern was used for a specific alphabet. So the pattern which is used to represent A will not be used to represent something else again. So every pattern is going to be unique for each alphabet. So let us have a look at the Braille alphabet. So see, this is how A would be. So from A to Z, you can see the different patterns on the Braille alphabets. So you see, they are not very big also, they are quite small. So it can be easily felt with the fingers. So this was the 6 dot cells pattern. So each has 6 cells, 6 boxes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So a total of 63 dot patterns exist. Now here you can see some 26 which represent the 26 alphabets. Other than these also, there are some dot patterns which represent the symbols, the special characters, the numbers and so on. And that's how the entire Braille alphabets have been developed. Now, Braille system is not the only aid available for the visually challenged people. There are some other aids also available, like auditory aids. Now, these people, they do not have the ability to see, but their hearing ability or their sense of hearing works perfectly fine. So that is why some certain things like audio CDs, voice boxes, these are used so that these can substitute to reading books. For example, instead of reading a book, they can, the audio CD can just narrate the book, and a person can just listen to it. Right? So even for watching a movie, now even though they cannot see it, but they can hear the dialogues. So that's how these kind of audio CDs and voice boxes can help them, and they are all termed as auditory aids. Next is tactual aids. Tactual means touch. So those aids which they can utilize by touching them. So the best example of tactual aids is the Braille system. So the Braille system works good with them because it is based on touch. Bifocal lenses and contact lenses, these lenses can rectify limited visions. Those people who have visual limitations, for them these kind of lenses can actually help. Magnifiers, so this is an example of magnifier. So people who cannot see small objects, they can make use of magnifiers to enlarge them and then view them. So these are some of the other aids which help visually challenged people. Thank you. Please visit www.examfear.com to watch more educational videos with a better experience. Please do not forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel for latest updates. Thank you once again.